Do you see yourself moving back to the U.S.? No. Okay.
So for me, this is my country, right?
Yeah.
This is where my parents were born,
Yeah.
where people look like me, where people talk the language like me,
Yeah.
where people are going to accept me for who I am.
Right.
I think that that's a big part of me feeling whole as a person.
Right. What's up, guys? I'm Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living here in West Africa. I'm in Sierra Leone at the moment. And today I have Yeniva Sisay.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you, Yeniva, for doing this. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm doing a series on people who've moved from the diaspora back to Sierra Leone and are doing big things. And Yeniva is doing a lot of different things. I know I'm going to learn some things, but I also went to the Taste of Salone and she was on stage. I didn't know she was involved. So I'm learning all kinds of things. And so I'm going to be sharing that with you so you can learn about what people are doing here. So if you're thinking about coming back, you would make the decision to come back because you can see that other people are doing things that are viable. So with that, can you talk to us about what you're doing here in Sierra Leone? Like what is your full-time career here?
Sure. I work in education.
Okay.
That's my passion. It's my career. Right now, I'm the Africa Regional Director for an Australian-based NGO called OneGirl. We work in girls' education, senior secondary education. We are proud feminists and teaching young girls to be comfortable in their feminism, giving them the upper hand and the opportunity, the skills and the development that they actually need to get the upper hand in education.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I remember hearing my dad talk about growing up in Bo and girls not going to school. How prevalent is that even today? Because it sounds like this is something that is based on something like that, right?
Yeah, so when I moved back, I've been in education for the last 22 years.
Okay.
I taught high school in Inglewood, California,
Okay.
And then moved back to Sierra Leone and worked in education. It's something that I've heard for a long time.
Yeah.
But when you start to see the percentages and the numbers, it's not about access. Girls are now going to school, but when they actually, how they're performing in school, the level of confidence that they have is still, a detriment. So, there's still a big divide and a gap. And then also as somebody who hires people in the workforce, you have exclusively male candidates, and really, a low level of women actually being able to apply for these jobs. What are the reasons? And there's so many reasons why. And I feel like Sierra Leonean girls need to see Sierra Leonean women in positions of power.
Absolutely.
And so this was a career change for me, a conscious career change for me, because I wanted to get more involved with girls' advocacy, education, skills development.
Okay, nice, that's huge. And I've noticed that too, like most people who come back here are taking part in what I would say like cause-based careers, right? Okay, so what did you do before you came here? So you mentioned you taught in Inglewood.
Yes.
So was that what you were doing right before you moved here?
That was what I was doing right before I moved here.
Okay.
I was working in Inglewood, California, Inglewood High School, Inglewood, working with Black and brown students, but also working with college-bound students. So I was helping Black and brown students get into college and universities, change their narrative and change their perspective. And I just started to see the similarities with Sierra Leone after the war. We had, a lot of child soldiers, people trying to re-engage and get themselves back into education. And I felt like if, young people from gang-ridden communities can get the help and development that they need, something really specialized towards it, because you need holistic education.
Right.
It's not just about math and English. Well, here, that's what they really focus on.
Right.
And so then you get young people who go out into the career field who do not have the rest of the development skills that they need to be able to work in these offices.
Yeah.
And so I started an organization called Excel, Education, Excellence, Empowerment, Skills Leadership. And Excel was about, developing young people, getting them college ready.
Okay.
And so I had an education center, things like that, which is really great, but it became really cost heavy.
Sure.
And so I had to look at not having, so much overhead, but still being able to, provide the services.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what made you make that transition from moving from Inglewood back to Sierra Leone? Like, what was the thing that sparked that decision to make that move?
Yeah, I've always been passionate about Sierra Leone.
Right.
Come back and forth when I was a kid, except the time during the war.
Yeah.
But after the war, I really got just more passionate about why this was happening.
Yeah.
Why did the war happen? Why was all this violence happening? And what could we do to be able to contribute to the new Sierra Leone? So 2007 was a time where the election happened. It was the first time I really got engaged with what was going on here in terms of the election, and really started to view the candidates and think about who was going to be better for the Sierra Leone that we wanted to create.
Right.
And so I really just felt like we were talking about it. People were engaging on social media. It was like the beginning of Facebook, almost. You have people arguing, all those different things. But how are you really making a contribution? How are you really making a difference?
Right.
And I think as an educator, I was talking to my students about their faith and about possibility, all these things. And so I asked myself, what would I do if anything was possible? If fear was not an option, and it would always be, moving home to Sierra Leone.
Okay.
So that's what I did.
Nice. I love it. I love that story. So when was that? That was 2008? 2007. Wow. So you've been here that long.
I've been here that long.
How often do you go back and forth between here and the U.S.?
So for the first 5 years, I did not go back to the
Really?
U.S. I really immersed myself because I felt like, we too often have a crutch.
Sure.
And so I felt like I really wanted to immerse myself and really be dedicated to what was happening here.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then I try to go at least once per year.
Okay.
But then I also really love exploring the continent. And all of the possibilities that we have here. So I really have had a great dual citizenship.
Yes. And I've been saying that to everyone. Everybody I've been talking to has dual citizenship. Definitely get your dual citizenship. You want to get a Sierra Leone passport. It changes everything. It allows you to travel around West Africa with no visa. Makes it really easy.
Yeah.
On that note, right? So you've been here, I guess it's like 15 years?
Yep, it's here 15.
Wow, 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you, if someone was thinking about moving here, right? So you've been here long enough to know the ins and outs, right? You're very well connected. What kind of advice would you give to someone who's thinking about moving career-wise or even just like personal? Like what kind of advice would you give to someone on that who's thinking about it?
Yeah, I think that you need to manage your expectations. I think that that's like the first thing that I tell people is manage your expectations.
Yes.
You need to come here knowing that it is not like anywhere else.
Sure.
You need to be able to adapt. I think that a lot of times we get ridden in passion. We think, oh my God, I've got this great project. I've been to America. I know this, I know that. You need to also realize that there are cultures, traditions, and you don't know everything. And everything that happens in the U.S. or in the West is not applicable here. Yeah. And so you have to humble yourself as well.
Yes.
So humble yourself. You need to learn the lay of the land, really understand what your environment is, and then figure out how you can contribute. Don't come with the contributing aspect first.
Sure.
I think we all get lost in the sauce and think, oh, we have all these great things to contribute, where you really need to understand your environment and figure out, how you don't reinvent the wheel. People come back and you're doing the same projects, the same things. So how can you really best contribute in terms of, career and project-wise?
Yeah.
In terms of, career again as well, I think you need to look at your various options. I talk about education being the thing that I do, but education led me into so many other realms. I've done hotel management here, events management, I've done skills development, I've done corporate training, I've done so many different things. So while you may have one career, you need to be able to adapt and look at different aspects. So I like to call them portfolio careers. Like if you need to be able to kind of roll out your different skills and use them in different ways.
Nice, yeah. Okay, cool. So, so obviously you have your day job, right? But I know you're involved in so many other things, like Power Women 232, and so can you just talk about all the different things that you're involved in and what each of them are doing here in Sierra Leone?
Sure. So I'll start historically. Madengn Association. Madengn is a cultural festival that we put on every year here in December. It's a celebration. It's a celebration of, we have 5 pillars, right? So it's music. We have a live band, live stage, Sierra Leone music, Sierra Leonean artists. We're celebrating all things Sierra Leone. Arts and culture. Right, and so we bring different artists, and we have people from the arts market, and they sell their wares, and made in Sierra Leone by Sierra Leone and support Sierra Leone businesses. We also have fashion, and so we're highlighting our young and budding fashion industry here in Sierra Leone, giving creatives an opportunity and a world-class stage to be able to show what Sierra Leoneans are doing. Food is something that we all, come together around, and so we have the different stalls, but it's Sierra Leone food that you haven't seen in a long time, or it's taken a spin on our food nowadays. So we have food, we have boiled soup, we have all these traditional foods that you can be able to find. And the last pillar is literature. And so we celebrate poetry, but also our writers. So we have a book corner where you can buy Sierra Leonean books. But it's an opportunity, it's an intergenerational type of event. In the daytime, you have the kids. They come with their parents, their grandparents. We have old school music. We have all these things. And then at night, we get down, and it just goes on for 2 days. And we've really been able to build an amazing basis. So we have 2 events during the year. We have the Madengn Beach Festival, which is our December event, and then we have our fundraising event, which is the Taste of Salone, which is just basically food and music, and a great time for you to be able to come together and vibe. Yeah, I love that. So I went to Taste of Salone. I didn't know that you were involved with Madengn. So you got up on stage. I was like, "Isn't that Yeniva?" I was like, "Okay, I gotta talk to her about what she got going on here," because I was not aware. And we met through another person I'm interviewing, Sylvia. Her and I go way back. So how did you meet? Because I'm always interested to know the connections.
The connections between people here, because I think that if you're thinking about coming here, that's one of the things that I don't think it's emphasized enough, is the network and how much everyone loves to help each other out, and put people in touch with other people, right? So how did you two meet?
So I met Sylvia through another friend, Yeniva, when Sylvia first moved here to Sierra Leone. Through another friend, Bimbla. Bimbla runs VSL. So we, again, have a little tight network of people. And so I met her through Yeniva and Bimbla, and then my other friend Gianni, who was also involved in Madengn at one time. And so through our little network, and so we have the connection through the diaspora and things like that. We've always kept in touch, and so when she moved back to Sierra Leone, again, it was just wonderful to rekindle our friendship and just kind of, hook up back again. I've definitely hung out with you all, and it's always a good time. I feel like I'm a part of the crew now. So I love hanging out. So that was Madengn. So that's Madengn. Power Women 232. I'm a founder, Power Women 232, co-founder, first president as well. Power Women 2 is a network. 232 is a network of business women. I really felt like, again, the narrative about what women were doing in Sierra Leone and how they were engaging with each other was very sterile, and I wanted to be able to kind of, engage in what women in business were doing. We would go to different places and we'd see men, they get contracts because they sit down, they talk to each other, they network, and people know what's going on. Hey, I got this opportunity. And do women have the opportunity to do the same thing? I didn't know, and I didn't really feel like there was a space, open for us like that. And so we created Power Women 232, which is we have many different types of women in business, women in corporate, entrepreneurs, so many different things. But it's a budding sistership, and it's a a mesh of the women from the diaspora, the women who are also based here in Sierra Leone as well. Okay. So I think we get to learn so much from one another. It's a sister circle. We put on events as well. So we do the ball, the network ball. Again, your network is your net worth. Is our theme, one of our slogans for the ball. We bring people together and really powerfully network. So really show that there are women, viable women in Sierra Leone who have a lot to offer. And once you're able to engage them, we can put women in positions of power and leadership.
That's awesome. Yeah, so 232, for those of you who don't know, that's the country code here in Sierra Leone. That's the connection. But I will say, I went to the brunch at Country Lodge.
Yes.
And I actually met someone there who we've had like a business relationship now, and we're also talking about her being on the board of a business that we're working on as well. So it absolutely is important to have this. So
that was my heart to hear that.
Yeah, it was unexpected. I was just going because I have a couple friends who are Empower Women 232, and I was just going to support. But I actually walked away with a really good network contact. So that was really good. Yeah.
And I think it gives a different perspective of who women are. I think that in Africa in general, people's perspective are women in these traditional roles.
Absolutely.
And when you're breaking the mold, you actually need a circle of support to be able to help you. And we also push each other as well to lift each other up and to hold each other accountable for what we say we want to do. Our goals, our dreams, and support one another, support each other's businesses as well.
Nice. I love that. Okay, so we talked about Madengn and Power Women 232. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
I think those are my main things. Paint, sip.
Yes, so we just talked about this. I think this is really interesting. I definitely want you to tell the audience about this because, we're used to this in the U.S., right? Like, you'll see on the Shade Room, right? They'll do like somebody who's promoting their paint and sip will put it on the Shade Room. So like, we all know about it. I've done paint and sips before. But I think it's interesting that you brought that here. So can you talk about what made you come up with the concept and how you've been executing it here?
Sure. So it's called Let's Paint SL, pop-up paint parties. So we go to different locations and bring people together to kind of just do something different, to explore their art side. I really feel like Sierra Leone is limited sometimes in terms of what we have to do socially. We drink socially, we go out to the club, but what are other ways in which we can be able to engage with each other? I mean, going on a date night or just hanging out with your girls, it's a possibility. And so I started off this pop-up paint party business. And then when COVID happened, I started to actually package the paint business and let people be able to paint at home. So we give them pre-sketch canvas, little paint kits, I give them brush, the easel, everything. You set it up all at home and still be, safe, in the pleasure of your own home, but still be able to get something great. And you have a great little keepsake to take with you as well. Cool. So we do girls' nights, we do kids' parties, and so it's been going really, really well.
Nice. And in all of this, what I'm hearing is Sierra Leone is the place. Well, number one, you need to make sure you're not reinventing the wheel or doing something someone else is doing. But two, it is a wide open space to start new things, even if it's not your core competency. Because when you told me you started to paint and sip, I asked you, like, are you a painter? Have you painted? And you were like, no, right? So I think that's huge, right? Like, because I think if you're thinking about moving here and you're thinking, well, my career is in X space, and it doesn't seem like that's available there, it doesn't mean that you can't come here and be successful, right?
Man, and I think that's what really, when you ask about advice, that's the thing that people need to do. Open up your mind. Think outside of the box and think about what are things that you can be able to build and what's missing and what can you be able to contribute. So thinking outside of the box is going to be a really core thing.
And if someone hasn't done it, doesn't mean that it can't be done, right?
I agree.
And it doesn't mean that, and you hear a lot that there isn't a market for this or there isn't a market for that, but you don't know until you try it, right?
I agree. I think you hear no a lot. People say, even with Madengn, people told us, you can't do that. You guys are JCs. No one's going to go to a festival. And, we're looking almost 12 years later, and it is one of the biggest events that Freetown has to offer. People actually change their travel calendar so that they could be able to come and be able to come to this festival. So imagine if we just listen to people tell us no. So
people projecting their fears on you.
Big time.
And JC means just come. So for those of you who just heard that acronym and not familiar, it's like all of us who are from the diaspora and we come back with our American accents, we are JCs. Well, you're not a JC anymore.
No.
You there?
I did. We got just
So okay, cool. We talked about you being here 15 years. So you've been here quite a long time already. Do you see yourself moving back to the U.S.? No. Okay.
If I moved anywhere else, it'd be somewhere on the continent. I do not see myself living in the U.S.
Right.
I think that the U.S. will always be home. It's a great place to visit. It has all of these great aspects, but in terms of what I want to do for my purpose-driven life, it's here on the continent. And I really, no.
Yeah, I get it. I'm in that realm now. I mean, it's only been 6 months for me now, but I'm already in that place. Okay, so if you don't see yourself moving back, and you're going to be living on the continent, or it could be anywhere on the continent, what would you say are the things about Sierra Leone that makes you feel like you would not want to go back? So you mentioned the purpose-driven life, and so you get to do that every day.
I get to do that every day.
Anything else? And we talked about freedom. Anything else that you want to mention to people who don't have, conceptually, they can't understand why somebody would move to Africa and not want to move back to the U.S., right? Because the U.S., we have this, what they call it, exceptionalism, right? Which is actually a negative term, but I think they used to think it was a positive term, and you think that you're above all else, right?
Yeah.
And so can we talk a little bit about why you feel like you wouldn't want to move back and why you want to stay here?
Right, so for me, this is my country, right?
Yeah.
This is where my parents were born, where people look like me, where people talk the language like me, where people are going to accept me for who I am. I think that that's a big part of me feeling whole as a person. I think what's going on in the U.S. right now is not something new. It's just becoming more prevalent, and we're now taking the blinders off to see what is really happening. And for me, I've already accepted that. That's absolutely fine. I want to be in a place where my children feel safe, where my spouse or whoever I want to do, where black men feel safe, where I feel safe, and I think that that's an important part of my well-being. Like I said again, a purpose-driven life. But again, the freedom, you're not so closed off. I live literally 5 minutes from the beach. I can drive along the coastline every single day. That peace of mind, just being able to take in that deep breath is so valuable to me. I would not trade that for the world. I think the authentic living as well, very natural. So you have food that's fresh,
straight from the ground.
I think that you also have the help and support that you really need as a career woman. I have the liberties and the blessings of being able to have help that I would not be able to afford the liberties in the U.S. the same kind of way. So I think that for my purpose life, that's very important for me.
Absolutely. So, I mean, is there anything else that you want to share with the folks out there about what you're doing, or where they can find you online if they want to help with any of the projects that you're working on here?
Sure. So OneGirl is an organization very close to my heart. We just launched another program called Girl Talk, where we're actually helping girls build their digital literacy through the WhatsApp platform. So we're giving them smartphones, and we teach them lessons on well-being, body autonomy, all those things through their phones. So you can always be able to check us out at www.onegirl.org.au. Madengn, you can always find us on Instagram. I am Yeniva on Instagram and also on Twitter as well. So those are the places that you can find. You can probably find Let's Paint Salone. It's called Let's Paint SL on Instagram.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, I want to thank you for doing this, Yeniva. I'm hoping that you guys got something from this, and if you did, let us know in the comments. If there's anything you think I missed, I didn't ask, let us know in the comments. I'll definitely make sure I reach out to Yeniva and we'll let you know more. All of those links will be in the description. So if you didn't catch any of it, it'll be in the description below. So you can click on the links to go to any of the sites that she just mentioned. And so with that, if you liked anything you saw here, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time a new video comes out. And make sure you share it with your friends or anybody thinking about moving or visiting Sierra Leone. So I will see you all on the next video. Alright guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share it with your friends. Alright, see you on the next video.